Hey everybody, welcome back to Stratego Freaks for another educational and fun video. Today we're going to be talking about the story that is told in almost every game of Stratego. What I mean by that is both sides tell a story. And my opponent is going to tell the story of where his flag is based on how he behaves. I had an idea of where it was, and let's just take a look at the board real quick. I'm actually down a major. I've started here because I don't think what happened prior was very relevant. The only real relevancy right now is the knowledge of this bomb in the center, which to me signifies a potential tripod. So that's why I started it here, and I think what takes place from this moment forward is the most important part of this game. This, as we know, in whether it's Stratego or even poker, depending on how someone bets, how they behave, patterns they may have, tells a story of what's going on in that hand. And in this case, how my opponent reacts tells the story of where his flag is. There's one specific moment, and I'll show you what that is when we get there. Let's just start and see where we're at. Okay, so he's going to come over and pressure me, and I lotto that piece because I do know that finding this bomb here, this looks like a tripod to me, and I was willing to actually sacrifice that, partly just because I felt I was in that kind of mood where I was going to go for it. And let's keep going. All right, so he gives me an opportunity. I'm going to take another piece. Those had both moved, and I like getting that major back. That's pretty good. If we look at the board, all of a sudden I'm winning. Let's keep going. Now, one thing that he at one point earlier in the game, he had his gen down in my setup, and then as soon as I started to migrate pieces down, he retreated back. Part of that signified to me a little bit of weakness. Maybe he did want to defend some of these pieces, but it also made me think that he didn't feel super comfortable with me coming down the way I did. So I already had my spider senses tingling that his flag was down here. I also thought, based off a couple things that happened in a few moves, that I knew who this player was because I recognized some similarities in the setup. I had played against this player. And so I kind of had an idea of where his flag might be. So now this is trapped, and I'm going to lose it, and I'm aware of that, but I don't waste any time. I decide that I'm going to bring my miner up and potentially open up this tripod. And he's kind of letting me get down there, and he doesn't take, so I'm thinking, is this even a movable piece? Is it a bomb? You know, he didn't take it. So I hit. He lets me, so I'm starting to second guess already that maybe that's not it. So when I come over and I hit another bomb. Now, at this moment, I think that I realize who this is, and his flag, let me actually click on here, would be on the G10 or H10, and this would be a bomb. I considered this as a potential flag piece, but because of who I thought it was on this side, and I missed the opportunity to actually strike this. But I did have it on my radar, and looking back, I probably should have just hit it to find out what that was, but I didn't. So he's coming over, and I'm going to bring up my heat, and I'm not quite sure what that was all about, but I took that immediately. And so I post my marsh up, and he doesn't want that to happen, and he's looking to exchange, especially being up the kernel. Now, I should have hit, but once again, I thought the flag was on this side, and since I already had my miner down, I didn't want to potentially lose it while I have the opportunity to open this up. So I move, and it's not what I thought it was, but then I'm like, okay, this is the tripod. Let's go, and it's not. So the exchange happens. So now I'm eyeing, it's either a corner potentially, or I'm eyeing this as the flag again. And let's keep going. And I'm gonna kind of chase for a minute and post that up there and keep his major kind of pinned in. Now, I am looking at this piece more and more, and I have one scout on the board here. I know I could actually one square this all the way down, concealing it, but I actually wanted to reveal that it was a scout because he would have to kind of defend if he knew that this was a scout, because he's looking at it as coming to here, across, and down. So he's going to pin. So I move it, and I go, if he brings one of these movable pieces back down, he's protecting, because there's no reason for him to actually retreat backwards if he wasn't vulnerable. So let's go back. It's here. I move it. Now it's his turn to respond. And I said, if he moves this down, I'm pretty sure that that's the flag. And he moves it over, which wasn't, fine, but it's also trying to, get down and block. So I'm going to move over, all the way over. And I go, if he moves down, this is the flag. So he's telling me. And he does. So I'm like, okay, let's figure out a way to get there. So even though he's got this blocked off, I'm still coming down because I want to see if he actually commits to blocking. Because if he left it here, then maybe it isn't. But he does block. So at this point, I'm 90% sure he could be playing a little bit of a ruse here against me, hoping that I just waste a piece on it, because it could be a bomb. It could be, a 7. Could be a minor. Could, who knows? But bottom line is he protected it. So I move back, and he comes down. Now I see my opportunity. I just decide I'm going to move my scout on it. If he doesn't take with the 2, then chances are it's not the flag. But if he does take, then I'm just going to march my colonel across and hit regardless of being down. That's how convinced I am at this moment, but I wanted to be sure. So I move on it. Now, this is kind of like a borderline chess sequence where you're kind of manipulating your opponent's pieces by forcing him to move. And he does. So I commit to my read and the story being told. And I bring my colonel over. He's coming across, and I insta-hit. And, of course, it's the flag. So I think what's important here, and something I want you to consider, if you're playing high-level players, they might act like they're protecting their piece when it's not the flag. But if you're playing lower intermediate players, you can take advantage of that. So, once again, high-level players anticipate this kind of stuff and will draw you into making those kind of moves. But sometimes, you've played into the right position, and they're going to be forced to respond as well. So, bottom line, when you're starting out in Stratego, pay attention to the details. If you have a hunch of a flag or a significant piece, whether it be the marshal, gen, or spy, you can figure it out by how they behave. And that's kind of the moral of this story. Anyways, I hope this video sheds a little light and leads you to your next victory. And anyways, have a great day, people. Hope this was helpful. See you soon. Hope to see you on Strategus, and I hope to beat you there too. Have a great day, everybody.